Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about my experiences with Palmetto State Armory products. The last video I did was on this AK-47 GF3. I showed you all the bolt wear and stuff like that. Where when it's cycling backwards, when the bolt unlocks, that cam's hitting that groove in the carrier, and it's actually destroying both the end of the lug and the end of the groove in the bolt. When I first bought the rifle, I ran 300 rounds through it, and I took it down 300 or 400 rounds. I can't remember. It's not a lot, but I took it apart and I noticed that wear on the bolt lug, and so I submitted a warranty claim. Got an RMA. They sent me I sent them pictures of the ammo I'm running, sent them pictures of the issue. They said send it back. I sent it back. They emailed me and said that the bolt and carrier were both found to be out of spec, and that they replaced them both. Ran 60 rounds through it. It ran fine, cleaned, lightly oiled. Boom, sent it back to me. They turned it around. My gun was probably gone maybe a week. My rifle, it was only gone maybe a week. So it was a quick turnaround, quick response. They took care of the problem. So I get the rifle back. I load up 4 magazines. I take it to the range. I just do some low ready drills with it, run through 4 mags, nothing, no rapid fire or any silliness, just straight up drills. And brought it home, and I took it apart to take a look at it, and I seen that same exact failure starting to occur. And it took me a little bit of looking, because clearly I'm an AR guy, so I'm not well versed in AK world. So it took me a minute to think about the theory of operation, the way that thing works, the way the bolt unlocks and locks. So when that round goes off, gas goes through the gas block and drives the piston back, which drives the carrier back. When that carrier snatches back is when that lug is hitting the end of the groove in the bolt carrier. So typically what I've heard, PSA's guns are not overgassed. They actually, when they drill the gas port in the barrel, it's smaller than the standard AK spec. And I'm not sure why they do that. But as quickly as this gun's beating itself up, it has to be severely overgassed. So anyway, the second time I took pictures, they're refusing to do anything with it this time. They say it's normal wear. Their email stated, now keep in mind, I've got 400, they got 60, that's 460, another 120. I'm not even at 600 rounds on this thing. And they say that it is normal wear between 500 to 1,000 rounds. That they do not file fit their bolts like foreign made AKs. Anyway. And they're refusing to take care of it. So I bought a K&S adjustable gas piston, because I do believe that the damage is in part due to, well, first of all, it's weak heat treat. Okay, it's weak heat treat, and I felt like the rifle might be overgassed anyway when I first started shooting it. That's why I put a muzzle brake on it to help with that, because it'd thump on your shoulder pretty good. So that's my experience so far with the AK from Palmetto State Armory. Now, the daggers, I have 3 of these, okay? And I will tell you that thus far, I have ran the ever-loving shit out of 2 out of 3 of these. One of them is just a truck gun for self-defense. But this one is upgraded with a Shadow Systems trigger and an extended mag release, and obviously the RMR. So this one is my competition pistol. You can laugh if you want, but this is what I shoot competitions with. But I really like the daggers. I like the price on them. Again, I haven't seen any failures, but the good news is, if it does, I don't have to spend another nickel with Palmetto State, because 99% of the shit in this gun is Glock compatible parts, and the Gen 3 parts are not going anywhere for a very long time. So I can take care of these without spending any more money at Palmetto State. Okay. Moving on. Both of these 2 rifles you see in the background here, this is a M4A1 retro build. I bought their M4 upper. I found it real cheap, you know, on sale for blah, 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 whatever it was. But it was on a flat top receiver, and obviously I wanted to build a carry handle receiver. The barrel nut. So obviously I have to take the barrel nut off to put it on a carry handle receiver, right? Okay. So I have destroyed a armorer's barrel. I destroyed a wrench and still couldn't get it off. I have a 250 foot-pound torque wrench. You all know the spec, and it's open to debate, I guess. It's just between 30 and 80 foot-pounds. I'm not sure what the max is, but at 250 foot-pounds, trying to break that thing loose, that wrench was clicking. And what I ended up having to do was cut the delta ring off with a Dremel tool and cut some teeth off either side, because it destroyed and folded them over and bent them and twisted them anyway, and put a pipe wrench on that barrel nut and used a mini sledge to get that thing loose. What in the hell? That's this one, okay? It ruined the receiver, it ruined the barrel nut, and it ruined the delta ring. So did I really get a deal when I bought that for 140 bucks or whatever it was? Not really. I mean, it would have cost me a lot more to build a barrel with a front sight base, because really there's not very many people selling with a front sight base already taper pinned on. So there's that. This one here is a, well, it's not really clone correct at all, because it has A1 handguards, it has an A2 upper receiver, and it has A2 stock. And but it has the faux dissipator barrel. This was another Palmetto State upper that I had bought, and I wanted to switch to a carry handle upper. Same situation. Destroyed the delta ring, destroyed the barrel nut, destroyed the upper receiver, just to get that barrel off of it and use it on another upper, because they completely over torqued them things. I have no idea why or how that barrel nut survived getting torqued that hard. And of course, you know, I didn't complain to them about it. I didn't request a, you know, because they're not going to warranty something you had to butcher up to get it apart anyway. But my point is, when you catch this stuff on sale, 2 times I have bought uppers from them with the intent of using a different upper receiver. And both times I have destroyed the barrel nut and the delta ring to get them apart. And the flat top upper receivers. Destroyed them because I was using a, yeah, it's here somewhere. Here it is. One of these clamshell type deals. okay, to get it apart, and it twisted the receiver. So maybe next time with the old Geisley reaction rod, I might have better luck. Well, there won't be a next time because I'm not going to buy anything from them anymore. And that's the thing. I did respond to the first email because they sent me 2 emails. Sent me one saying they weren't going to fix it because it was normal wear. I blew up the pictures to show them that the actual deformation of the metal, they said they didn't see any deformation of the metal and that they weren't going to do anything about it. So my reply was, and I was respectful, I said, if that is your opinion that this does not need to be repaired, then I can find somebody someplace else to spend my hard-earned money. Not a big deal, right? And that was the end of the conversation on my end. And then they replied back with this whole 500 to 1,000, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I've watched I don't know how many videos of AKs that have 10 and 20,000 rounds through them. That lug does not look like that. So hopefully putting a K&S adjustable piston in this will allow it to live long enough. And I also ordered a field headspace gauge so that every time I take this to the range and shoot it, I can verify that it's still safe to shoot. And I'm just going to run it until something happens to the extent that they can't deny the warranty. And then I'm just going to ask for a refund. And then I'm going to take that money and put it towards a good, and it pains me to say this, but a good foreign-made AK. So, but, you know, you can buy a Wasser 10 for about the same price point as this, and it'll be a good, solid, reliable piece. But the one thing that Palmetto does do well with these is the fit and finish on this rifle is just exceptional. This is a beautiful piece of equipment. Very, very nice looking rifle. Okay, I just can't find any problems with how they fit everything together externally. Visually, this is a beautiful rifle. So that's it in a nutshell. My opinion is that everything they build is garbage. I haven't had any trouble with the daggers. The daggers, again, this one has been refitted with some Glock parts and some Shadow Systems parts. I can buy parts from the Glock store. You know, anything but the lower, and there's something else that was proprietary to this. I can't remember what it was. But the majority of the stuff is Glock parts. And they do have a funny trigger pin. This pin setup is kind of funny, but these things, they run great, man. This has been a great running pistol. I have run a ton of rounds through this thing already, and it won't stop. I'm talking cheapo, full metal jacket, paper cutters. You know, just bang, 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 and it goes. 2 of them. We have 2 of them that we use for competition shooting. I have a 3rd one. It's just my truck gun for self-defense. It's my carry gun. So I won't buy any more of them. However, I'm not going to spend any more money with that company. I feel like they've grown to the point where they lost sight of what it's like to be a little man. And they're just, you know, money driven. This is ridiculous. They have the facilities and the means to make the best AK on the planet. That's no shit. They could make the best AK on the market and still sell it cheaper than anybody else. They just choose to half-ass their way through it and pump as many of them out the door as they can. So I don't know. I guess, like I said, I won't spend any more money with them. Matter of fact, buying holsters for this, there's other places. You don't have to go through PSA to buy them. So, you know, when this thing finally does fall apart, like I said, to the point where they can't deny a warranty on it, then I'm just going to say, give me my money back. and be done with it. But until then, I have a field space gauge coming so I can monitor it and make sure it's, I'm not going to continue firing it if it's deemed unsafe. I'll just have to somehow prove to them that the headspace is walked out on it, which I don't really see as that being a problem. I'm just kind of worried about this thing self-destructing, so I got the gauge so I can keep an eye on it. They typically have really tight headspace on their AKs, so. But if something's coming undone, it'll let you know. But thanks for watching. Hopefully your experiences with these guys have been better than mine. I've spent lots of money over the years with them, bought lots of stuff, lots of AR parts, lots of lowers, lots of this, lots of that. The 2 uppers that I have bought from them, I've had issues with both of them. So, I don't know. The only thing I've ever bought from them I didn't have trouble with was these daggers. So, take it for what it is. Thanks for watching, guys.